One of the interesting things about Japanese records is they have the price somewhere on the artwork, usually anyway, and that tells you something about when they were released or made. And I'm going to be doing a separate video on the prices of albums in Japan and looking at just how expensive it was to buy records relative to earnings and other products available at the time. But today we're just going to look at the prices printed on single records. And the first single released in Japan was Heartbreak Hotel, and this one had a price of 400 yen on the back in the bottom right corner. And the next picture sleeve had the same price, 400 yen, and for some reason prices disappeared from single artwork for quite a few years. As we can see if we look at this copy of Jailhouse Rock, there's no price anywhere on the artwork here. However, I have another copy here of Jailhouse Rock that does have a price on it, and you can see the insert design has changed. This one actually has a price of 330 yen in the bottom right corner, and that tells me that this particular version came out sometime between 1962 and 1965. If we just go back a little bit, prices started to reappear. Prices reappeared on single artwork in 1961, and we can see that with this copy of Wooden Heart, which has a price of 350 yen. So they actually went down in 1962 from 350 yen to 330 yen. It's a copy of Love Me Tender, and this one also has a price of 330 yen on the back there, indicating it was released, as I say, between 62 and 65, and this one also has a mid-60s company sleeve with it. The first versions of Love Me Tender had the same design, but there was no price anywhere on the insert. Here's another single from that period, Fun in Acapulco, and this one from 1963 also has 330 yen price. Then prices jumped in 1965 to 370 yen from 330 yen, as we can see from this copy of Blue Suede Shoes. 370. It must seem a little bit strange that prices went from 350 to 330 and then back to 370. You would expect it to have been the other way around, but it really was that way. And then in 1968 there was one single which was very unusual, this one here, Stay Away and US Mail. Unusual in that there is no price anywhere on this single. And I'm guessing that was because it was released round about the time that they were going to change the price. And I have actually done some research on the other singles that were released on the same label, Victor, just before and just after this one. And there are anywhere between 7 and 9 singles that are exactly the same. They don't have the price on the insert anywhere, front or back. And the next one I have has a 400 yen price, so prices did in fact go up to 400 yen shortly after Stay Away was released. This is a little less conversation, 400 yen price at the bottom there, and also on the back, and it was on the new orange RCA label with the new RCA company sleeve. Prices stayed that way, 400 yen for a few years, and beginning with American Trilogy in 1972, they rose again to 500 yen. That's quite a big leap. There's a copy of Burning Love from that period with the 500 yen price tag in the bottom right corner. And in 1976, they rose again by 100 yen. Hurt was the first single released at that price, 600 yen. And My Way from 1977 was also sold at that price, 600 yen. And from about 1983, prices rose again by 100 yen. And this record here was released in 1984, Don't Be Cruel and Hound Dog. And you can see the price of 700 yen in the bottom left corner. The reason for this release is because Don't Be Cruel was used in an advertisement, TV commercial for beer. And interestingly, they used the electronically reprocessed stereo version in the commercial, but this single is definitely mono, both sides.
Asahi can boy, it's pretty boy.
And if you do buy Japanese singles, you may often find singles that have stickers, price stickers on them. Like, for example, this one here. You don't have to say you love me. This has a 500 yen price sticker here. So this single was released when prices were 400 yen in 1971. So this 500 yen price sticker tells you that this was actually sold after 1972, 72 or later, when prices rose to 500 yen. And I have a later copy of the same single, and this one actually has 500 yen printed on it. So the one we just looked at with the sticker, underneath that sticker is 400 yen printed on the insert, and then they were still manufacturing it well after 1972. So when they ran out of older inserts, they just reprinted it with the new price, 500 yen. And I do have one single that has a bit of a tale to tell. Now, this is the single No More, and this was released in 1962. And if you look at the bottom of the left side there, you can see that there's actually a little stain there, and that's because on the back there's a price sticker, 370 yen price sticker, and the gum from the sticker has obviously come through and stained the front there. And if you look closely, you can actually see the original price of 330 yen on the back of the insert, and that was how much it cost when it came out in 1962. So this sticker was applied in 1965 when the single still hadn't sold. And then if you look on the front, there's actually another sticker, 400 yen. And if you've been paying attention, you'll know that prices rose to 400 yen in 1968. So this record was first manufactured in 1962, but it didn't sell until at the earliest 1968. So this is very unusual to see a record with not one new price sticker on, but actually two. And this record has survived a long time in really nice condition. Actually, I think it's pretty much unplayed. You can always tell a record which has been looked after, by the way, when these company sleeves are very tight. There's no creasing, and they're pretty much, it feels like they're almost stuck to the record. And another thing I like about collecting Japanese records is finding something I never knew existed. And that recently happened when I came across this record. And this is Do the Clam. And you're probably thinking, well, it's just another copy of Do the Clam, so what? But this one is actually on the RCA label, not on Victor. So this was actually released in the 1970s. And if we look at the record, it has the large center hole made by Victor Musical Industries. So this is a 1972 or later pressing. So there you go. The price on a record will often tell you a lot about a Japanese single, when it was made, when it was sold. And I'm going to leave it there for today. As I say, I'll do a future video looking at the prices of LPs, and they'll be coming hopefully in the near future. But that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.